Right now, I'd like to ask Carrie Gaines to come up and talk to you a little bit about credentials.
I get to use the stool too. I probably don't even need the microphone. Thanks, Jerry. I'm Carrie Gaines. I'm from Dallas County, and I am serving as your representative for Senate District 2 on the Credentials Committee. And what that means is sometimes there's challenges to people that have been chosen as delegates or alternates, and so they are brought before our committee for us to review to see what the challenges are. I did serve on this committee in 2018, and it went very smoothly. We didn't have any major issues. I know several years past, we've had like whole counties that have had issues. The head of our committee, David Wiley, he's been communicating with us. And I think overall, there's only been a handful, maybe out of all the delegates, about 30, 31 challenges in the whole convention. There were a couple in SD2. They were more clerical errors than anything else. And I just got confirmation this morning that there's no other challenges in SD2. And if you have been chosen as a delegate or alternate, you should be seated. So if you have any questions about credentials, just please let me know. Thank you.
Question? Yes.
So, I don't think this is not in this Credentials Committee, say this, but if someone is an alternate and they go down to Houston, what's the process look like for them potentially becoming and being seated as a delegate?
Donnie, can someone help me with that?
Well, basically, yes, credentials doesn't really handle that. What happens is, well, first of all, if you're a delegate, you want to show up. And so if you do not show up, and so that we can have, as many people there to vote, you will, if there's not enough, I think, I'll take, for example, Rockwall. I think you have like 55 delegates. So if only 53 of you show up, then there's a room for 2 more. So your alternate number 1 and number 2 will move up, and that will be handled in your actual caucus. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on.
Anything? Yes, sir.
We're from Range County, we have 7 delegates.
Oh, wow.
Now we're down to 6. If only one of us shows up, or 2 of us show up, do we still count all 6? Do we vote for the other ones? Or-
That is my understanding. Is that how?
Okay.
You will vote your full delegation.
Okay.
Yeah, so if they don't show up, you get
We
to
get their
count.
votes.
You get their votes.
Okay.
They gave up their votes.
That works in Senate district caucuses. It does not work that way in congressional district caucuses.
Okay.
But we're not at congressional this time. We only have those in the years of presidential.
Good question.
And those are one person, one vote.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. I was not aware of that. You learn, one thing at conventions, you will learn something new, not only every year, but every day. So for those of you that are your first time, congratulations. It's an experience, and trust me, if you're sitting in the audience and you're on those votes and you're like so lost and you're like, what am I doing? That's normal.
We are alternate delegates, so what's our voice in this? I mean, are we just there in case somebody doesn't show up?
Basically, that is correct. So when you go to even the general or in the caucus, they will see, the delegates will be seated, the alternates will be behind, and then if there's any guests, they'll be seated behind. You are there in the event that a delegate does not show up. What county are you from, ma'am? Colin, okay, I'm not really sure what your delegate alternate is.
It's highly likely you'll be seated, yes.
A lot of times, that's what they always say, but, I never want to, don't take that to the bank. The main thing, you'll be sitting there, you'll be watching, if you're not moved up to a delegate, you are there, you're watching the process and you're learning, and then in the event, the following years, you'll be a delegate. Yes, sir.
When you say seated behind, do you mean clear separate or just in the back of that?
Yeah, they should, hopefully, depending on the rooms and how many people, there should be a the delegates, and then there may be an aisle, and then the alternates. And the main reason for that is for voting purposes. You want to make sure that the people that are delegates are voting, and the alternates and guests obviously do not vote.
And is your delegation chair or whoever it is, what, it's their responsibility to, if they have a delegate leave, they are supposed to be going and picking the alternate. Because in some counties, you do it by delegate number one will have, number one alternate, number two will have two alternates. But most counties have it to where that you've got, say, 10 delegates, then you've got 10 alternates. And it's up to the delegation chair to say, hey, I need you to come, and they'll come get you and put you back in. They'll go to the, but it's their, in other words, you don't just get up and go, you've got to be.
Right, you need to be asked. So that is another, so some counties or delegations do it where it's delegate number one, alternate number one. Okay, I'm not experienced with that. Usually it's, like in Dallas County, we had 55 or 50-something, and then we just started bringing up our delegates as they were numbered 1, 2, 3. So I'd explain something I saw earlier that I was like, why is it that way? So, okay, all really good questions, and, you know, which brings to mind, when you're there, sitting there, and you're like, you know, this is a small crowd. I think Jerry said we have 343 delegates. I don't know how many of those are actually going to be there, but it's going to be a bigger room, and sometimes when it's a bigger room, you feel, I know I did, I felt a little intimidated about, well, I don't want to ask a stupid question, but, you know, just ask, and, because that's the only way you're going to learn, and believe me, there's going to be a lot of new people, and if you have that question, somebody else probably has it too, so, okay, oh, yes, sir.
One more. Our county chair is not going to our convention. So, when you talk about who has to lead the vote, or you know, things we have to say, do we just decide between her and I?
Yes, you can.
We can do that?
Christie will.
Is that how
Or
it
Christie
works?
can help that?
Christie will help you, yes.
Okay.
Christie will.
Thank you.
We had a question in the back?
No,
Oh, we don't have a question?
It's
Oh,
telling me to go to the microphone.
oh, okay, thank you, all good questions.
I've got to run, but I wanted to add one thing. The further the convention is from your home, the more likely you'll get seated as an alternate. We're in Dallas, that's all the way down in Houston. Things come up, for whatever reason, people won't go. I can't guarantee it, but every time I've gone and encouraged other alternates, they've always been moved up and seated. And you do have to, Dallas, we didn't have enough to even fill up our delegate slots. So if you're from Collin, you have to replace a delegate from Collin. We can't let you come sit in Dallas because we didn't fill all of it. But it just depends on Collin. You'll have 30 delegates. If, you know, 5 of them don't make it, your first 5 alternates will be moved up. But when it's away like that, I can almost guarantee you, you'll get to be a delegate. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Good luck today.